guys, welcome to Hats But Economics, and it's Connie. So if you haven't done so already, guys, thank you for being here, but also hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so you can get aware of all my new videos. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to jump in. So I got a lot of feedback about the college thing. And, I think it's going to be constant. So I need to be constant too, right? Right? So the reason why, I have to make this clear, the reason why I'm not a big advocate for college is because I know the facts. I've read the receipt. And these colleges are doing a massive disservice by not telling Black people, particularly Black women, the truth. So, what's that truth? Is that the college degrees are not getting people hired. And on top of that, they're not doing what they're supposed to do and bring your salary to par. Okay, I can tell you that I have a bachelor's and I have a master's in HR from Cornell, which is an Ivy League school, and it took me over a year to get an advanced job in my field, and I was way overqualified. And by the time I got that advanced job, technically I already surpassed that point. Technically I was already, a senior in reality. But because I am a Black woman, it's much more challenging. And this is just not my opinion. This is data you can find on the EEOC. This is data you can find all over. So I think it's really, really, really important for women of color who are probably single moms or taking loans out to know the truth. So I know you can see this page, and I'm going to go through it with you, okay? African Americans with college degrees are twice as likely to be unemployed as other graduates, okay? A new study finds that 12.4% of Black college graduates were unemployed, okay? Were unemployed. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And why aren't colleges talking about it? If you're going to college, you should be networked with a job in your last year, in your senior year. That's what they do at Ivy League schools. So it's just, I just really want to challenge Black women to read the receipt. Do your research, okay? Um, a new study finds that 12.4% of Black college graduates were unemployed. For all college graduates, the unemployment rate stood at just 5.6%. So look at that contrast, okay? So if you're Black and you graduate from college, it's 12.4. If you're not Black, it's 5.6. So that's really crazy. That is like double, a little bit more than double. So let's just go down here. All right. So I'm going to read it for you guys. The Ivy League educated barista who can't find a job that pays enough to live anywhere else than her childhood bedroom. The freshly minted MBA and law school graduates strapped with debt and frustrated about the six-figure jobs and the master of the universe titles that haven't materialized. Nearly 5 years after the Great Recession officially ended, the struggles and dampened expectations of young college graduates have become a fixture of American politics and even pop culture. But amid all the focus on the difficulties of college-educated millennials, one facet of this upheaval has remained largely unexplored: the continued significance of race. So this is where I want to stop. I know in America we hear a lot of crap about why is everything about race? Why is everything about race? It's because it is about race. If we don't talk, if we're not honest, if we don't take the rug and beat it and get all the dirt out, we're going to continue to have massive challenges with race because nobody wants to talk about it. And it's crazy because this country had 400 years of slavery, tons and tons of laws, segregation, oppression. So if you're not evenly talking about it, and when I say evenly, you do have some states that are better than others. If you're in a blue state, you might experience more racial awareness. If you're in California or New York or, New Jersey, it might be much better than going to Mississippi, Alabama. And the reason I say that is because it's so political. It's so, a heated subject. It's as if we don't want to move forward. And the only way we're going to move forward is if we openly embrace and listen and learn and not try to listen with the intent to respond, but truly listen with the intent to gain that person's perspective. So let me just continue. All right. I made the page go up too far. As a new crop of college graduates join the American workforce, unemployment rates among minorities with degrees remain distinctively elevated. So, guys, if you're listening to me, I just read that unemployment rates among minorities with degrees remain distinctively elevated and their economic prospects disproportionately dimmed. A new report by the Center for Economic and Policy Research found. So this is by the Center for Economic and Policy Research. That's why we're doing Hatsput's Economics, so you guys can learn with me, because I'm learning too. So this is why I say what I say. What do you say to the college graduate who went to school, Ivy League, and can't get a job, and she's of color? There's so many people, so much untold stories, and I get it. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an architect, you're more than welcome to do so. I think that's perfectly fine. But you need to realize that you may not get a good return on your investment. Listen to me. You need to do research. Put the Facebook down, put the Instagram down, and you need to see what is the diversity in these companies. Do they hire Black women? Do they promote Black women? Do they pay Black women equal salary? This is the year 2017, sweeties, about to be 2018. Black women, I love you. I don't have to do this. I don't. I found a way out. I'm a nerd. I have no life. I found a way out. That's why I'm trying to tell people. People say, Connie, you went to Cornell. You think I have a house and a car because of Cornell? It has nothing to do with that, because once I got to a certain limit in my career, I had no networking. Nobody was caping for my black ass in the boardroom. They was caping for their friends. And you know what? Good for them. I had no networking. I had nobody that was behind closed doors in meetings pushing for Connie. It didn't matter how good my review was. It didn't matter how much accounts I opened up. It didn't matter if I was a top HR person, if I hired, if I trained, if I recruited. It did not matter, because I didn't have that social connectivity. I didn't have that inside scoop. I wasn't going to dinner with the boss. I wasn't having margaritas with the boss. I wasn't going shopping. I'm telling you, real stuff that happens at a corporate level. So I'm trying to tell Black women, you have to look at it as an investment. And I look back and I wish I would have opened some nail salons, some laundromats, some dry cleaners. I wish I would have opened some bodegas, because my goal is financial freedom. And a lot of Black women don't know that you can gain financial freedom without college. But it's just something that's not talked about. The stock market's not talked about. Investments, real estate is not talked about. If you go to any college graduate and say, could you tell me what the Dow Jones is? Could you tell me what S&P is? Could you tell me about, what's the top 10 rated stocks? Could you tell me about savings bonds and how they work? They're going to be like, huh? Huh? And that's how America makes their money. So you have to decide, and you got to step away, and you got to inform yourself and stop relying on people to hand feed you. So let me continue, because as you can see, I'm passionate. All right. So I'm going to just reread that last sentence. Guys, just bear with me, because I'm about the facts and only the facts. As a new crop of college graduates join the American workforce, unemployment rates among minorities with degrees remain distinctively elevated and their economic prospects disproportionately dimmed, a new report released by the Center for Economic and Policy Research has found. In 2013, the most recent period for which unemployment data are available by both race and educational attainment, 12.4% of Black college graduates between the age of 22 and 27 were unemployed. That's crazy. for all college graduates in the same age range. All right. So for all college graduates that were not black, all right, in the same age range, the unemployment rate stood at just 5.6%. Are you guys listening to me? Because when I talk about college and shit, and y'all like, oh my God, don't have her hang around my child and talk about college, and she's blah, 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 she's just looking for clicks, she's just looking for clicks. Motherfuckers. Excuse my French. I'm Catholic, sorry. But this is the truth, and it kills me because I'm not pulling this stuff out of a magic hat. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm talking the truth. I'm showing you the receipts. All this stuff right here, that's the receipts, all right? The figures point to an ugly truth. Black college graduates are more than twice as likely to be unemployed. Lord of mercy. Rotted. Bomba clot. Okay, I'm going to read it again. Black college graduates are more than twice as likely to be unemployed. Black college graduates are more like, so I'm just going to tell you what that looks like. Do you know why I got into HR consulting? Do you know why I got into event planning? Do you know why I got into real estate? Do you know why I got into medical sales? Because I was not getting hired in HR. I only got hired 2 years after. 2 years. I was not. So I said to myself, I'm not going to be a victim. I am not going to be on the street. But it actually was the most empowering thing because now my jobs make more money than my core job. To be honest with you, the main reason I have a core job, which is my director job as a HR director for the airports, the reason why I have that is for insurance because I get free health insurance through my company. Free health insurance. And it's cheaper than when you're trying to buy, you know, private insurance. I'm not talking about that Obamacare. I'm talking about like that nice Oxford PPO stuff. The stuff that you can go with a Columbia and Columbia Presbyterian with. I'm talking about that grade A nice PPO insurance. You could only get that from big companies. So let me continue. All right. White men with recent criminal histories are far more likely to receive callbacks than black men with no criminal record. So here is something for black men. Instead of attacking my channel and instead of coming for Connie, you might want to do something. You might want to organize. You might want to talk about this is an economic hit. White men with recent criminal histories are far more likely to receive callbacks than black men with no criminal record. And I can attest to that because I'm an HR director. I can attest to that. I can't say, exactly what because, I can get in trouble. Because when you're an active employee, you do sign a confidentiality clause. But I can tell you that's absolutely true. I've seen black women who have Ivy League degrees get passed over for jobs in contrast to non-minorities, I'm being nice, non-minorities who don't even have that experience. It's really crazy. All right? We absolutely aren't trying to discourage people from going to college, said John Smith, a senior economist at the Washington-based Center for Economic and Policy Research, who co-authored the story. College degrees do have value. So I just want to stop it right there, okay? I'm John Smith. You need to kiss. You need to these nuts, John. These nuts, because you're like so beholding to these private organizations. You literally have on top. White men with recent criminal histories are far more likely to receive callbacks than black men with no criminal record. Then you want to rewind right here. And it says the figures point to an ugly truth that black college graduates are more than twice as likely to be unemployed. And then you want to scroll down here, son, and say, we're not trying to discourage people from going to college. You don't have to, you're not trying. You're producing the facts. Hasput economics is about the facts. All right. You can't say that and say college degrees do have value. Yeah, to the private corporations that run them, to the private businesses making money off of them, to the nonprofit colleges that are getting straight money from the government, because that's how it works. All right. But what we are trying to show here is that this is not about individuals or individual effort. There is simply overwhelming evidence that discrimination remains a major feature of the labor market. So this is what I'm talking about, black people. Okay? Nobody's addressing this. Nobody's addressing this. How do you have discrimination this rampant and nobody talks to black people in college and say, you will face discrimination and this is how you overcome it? How come we're not doing diversity awareness courses in college, in high school, to make people more aware of their biases? This is not me making this up. This is from the Center for Economic and Policy Research. This is government shit. And nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, that's why I'm encouraging you guys to open your own business, to start your own company, because nobody has done any, I'm telling you right now, nobody has done anything about it. And you might have a young black son, you might have a young black daughter, and you might be terrified. But the reality is, if you knew the receipt, if you read the receipt, if you opened up the receipt and you get down, you're going to be like, oh my God, how could you not know as an American? I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're Hispanic. I don't care if you're Jewish. How could we all be Americans and think this is okay? In 2017, it's about to be 2018. And this is okay? Do you know what kind of debt you can go into if you graduate from college, from these Ivy League schools or these high-end schools, and you don't got a job? Do you know that can do that? Son, that's going to fuck up your credit score worse than Mike Tyson in a bucket of fried chicken. And he's going to tear it up. It's going to get torn up. So it is really important for me to get this out of here. It's real important for me to share this message and for you to share it and then share and then keep going. This is what we need to see on Facebook. This is what we need to see streaming in news feeds, not fucking squirrels playing the guitar and having a good time. This is important because if you want to fix it, you need awareness. If you want to lose weight, you got to know you're overweight first. You're not going to fix this stuff by just glazing over it. And it's like we're doing our best to dance over it. We talk about everything else in the workforce. We talk about sexual harassment in the workforce. We talk about sexual assault. We talk about gay rights, gay discrimination. And you know what? That's great. I'm still waiting for them to celebrate Black History Month the way they celebrate gay pride. I'm from New York. And I was so happy to see all the windows for gay pride and the mannequins. And I was like, nice. But when Black History Month comes, it's like, doesn't even exist. I can't find one top corporation company that says we proudly celebrate Black History Month. It's like, it's still controversial. So we need to get our stuff together. So listen to this. Schmidt pointed to a series of studies that have in recent years found that when trained sets of black and white testers with identical resumes are sent on interviews, white men with recent criminal histories are far more likely to receive callbacks than black men with no criminal record at all. That is a crime. That is a crime. And I mean it. It's a federal crime because discrimination is on the EEOC. You are not allowed to discriminate by race, color, creed, nationality, origin, disability. You're not allowed to do that. Retaliation, these are all federal statutes, so you can't do that. So listen to the report. In fact, the center study found that even black students who majored in high demand fields, listen to me. If you guys are still with me, God bless you. Listen to me. In fact, the center study found that even black students who majored in high demand fields such as engineering fare only slightly better than those who spent their college years earning liberal arts degree. Okay, I'm about to pee on myself. Do you understand what that means? If you guys understand, listen to me. In fact, the center's study found that even black students who major in high demand fields such as engineering fared only slightly better than those who spent their college years earning liberal arts. First of all, liberal arts is the porn of college degrees. No offense to anyone. You cannot compare a liberal arts degree, okay, to a science degree or an engineering degree. It's like comparing sushi from Masa to sushi from Dwayne Reed, like the mystery sushi. Like if you want to commit suicide sushi. Oh, it's been there for a week in the drugstore and it's turning orange? I'll take it. It's like clean water, dirty water. Black people, specifically Black women, need to know this because disproportionately in the Black community, we're the ones going to college. We're the ones getting the education. And this is why I made Hasesput, because I know that this was an issue. And I really hope everyone watches this video. I really hope everyone shares this video because this is real news. This is why I don't have the computer on my face. Y'all saw my face. Ain't nothing wrong with my face. I don't got no elephant trunk. I don't got no giant hands hanging out my nostrils. I'm a regular looking human being. And this is why I feel so important to do these type of journalist style YouTube videos. So it's a facts. You got way too many Black people on YouTube talking crap. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm going to start over again, okay? In fact, the census study found even Black students who majored in high demand fields such as engineering fare only slightly better than those who spent their college years earning garbage ass liberal arts degrees. I threw in garbage ass. I didn't say that. Okay, between 2010 and 2012, 10% of black graduates with engineering degrees and 11% of those with math and computer related degrees were unemployed, compared with 6% of all engineering graduates and 7% of those who focused their studies on math and computers. That is a crime. First of all, a math and computer related degree? Do you know how fucking brilliant you have to be to get an entire degree in math and computer? I rather do a lot of other unpleasant things to my body than get a degree in math and computer, because that is not a joke. And then you graduate and you got people with liberal arts degree or people who's not even qualified. Come on, son. We need to know the truth. Black people need to know the truth about college and education. We need to know the truth. I'm not making stuff up. I'm just chilling here reading an article to you with my cat. My cat is right here next to me. 20 pounds of fury. I'm just sitting in, I'm just trying to help y'all because I'm trying to motivate you guys to have your own business, to log on to the Small Business Association, to become entrepreneurs. That is our only hope. But if you don't listen, if you don't want to be aggressive with your own success, what can I say? I'm here for you. I'm living proof. I'm telling you, I'm doing it. You can see me on LinkedIn. I'm doing it. And it's not impossible for you. But if you keep setting your child up for college, they're going to get a rude awakening. You know, college educated Blacks are also more likely than all others with degrees to confront underemployment. So this is what I'm glad they're talking about. Underemployment is the number one issue economically for Black women, where they get a job and they're so overqualified with so much experience, but they're unemployed and they're desperate, so they take a job. This is a widespread issue. People love to underemploy women of color. All right, so let me finish the paragraph. College educated Blacks are also more likely than all other degrees to confront underemployment, which the study defined as working in jobs that don't require a 4-year degree. I want to say it again. All right, they're getting turned down from jobs with a 4-year degree, with jobs that don't need a 4-year degree. Do you understand me? Do you understand that this is not a joke? Do you understand this is not me trying to get clicks? Do you understand this? This is not a joke. College is a loan. It must be repaid. It is a debt. And if you can't pay back your college loan, it will destroy your fucking life. Socially, economically, financially, legally, you can be sued. You can have lien on your account. This is not a joke anymore. This is not okay anymore. All right, so let me continue, which the study defined as working in jobs that don't require a 4-year degree. So they're hiring Black people with degrees to work in jobs that don't need a 4-year degree. That's a crime. It's a violation of EEOC. All right. The proportion of young African American college graduates who are underemployed has spiked since 2007 by fully 10% points to a striking 56%. And that's because more Black women are flooding the market with their masters. They're flooding the market with their bachelors. They're flooding the market with their PhDs. They're flooding the market with experience and degrees, and they don't want to put them there. I'm reading the article. That's all I'm doing. The proportion of young African American college graduates who are underemployed has spiked by 2007 by a fully 10% point to a striking 56%. Yes, I read that shit twice so you can get it. I read that shit twice, my friend, so you can hear it. So there is no mistake why this channel is made. During that same period, underemployment among all recent college graduates had edged up only slightly to around 45%. The study also found that among older college graduates, the gap in unemployment rates narrows but doesn't disappear. The Bureau of Labor Statistics data indicates that in 2013, 3.5% of all white college graduates were unemployed, while nearly 6% of all black college graduates sought work but could not find it. Many studies have found that workers unable to find steady employment during their first years in the labor market often pay long-term costs. Listen to this. Many studies have found that workers unable to find steady employment during the first few years in the labor market often pay long-term costs. So I'm just going to pause right there for reading the article. Do you know what that means? So not only have you been in college for several years, and while you're in college, you're probably not working in your field, and while you're in college, you're probably not making a substantial amount of money. And I'm also going to guess you're not probably paying off that loan as you go. I just want to take a stab in the dark. Then when you get out, you can't find a job. This is economic sabotage. It's just not made to win. And if you had the idea to do entrepreneurship at 18, say, hey, why don't you own a laundromat? Why don't you own a dry cleaners? That's much more sensible than this. Let Connie continue. During the first 5 years of after school, people try on, discard, and pick up better fitting careers, develop skills, typically make major income gains, and begin to plug in to the professional networks that provide training, contracts, and new job opportunities in the future. When unemployment disrupts that process, it can permanently alter the trajectory of workers' lifetime earnings, economists have concluded. So, in English, that means if you're not getting the promotions you need, if you're not getting the job you're supposed to get, if you're not getting the way you're supposed to get it, like what happened to me, that happened to me. It's going to affect you for the rest of your life. It's an economic blow to the fucking stomach. And it's going to affect you. You're going to be doing the crip walk forever. Black women, start your own businesses. Black women, get into entrepreneurship. You don't need a degree to be a stockbroker. You don't need a degree to be an investor. You don't need a degree to be a real estate developer. You don't need a degree to be a real estate salesperson. You don't need a degree to be in medical sales. And the reason why I'm advocating, because if your goal like me is to be financially free, then that's not the path to financial freedom. College don't make millionaires and billionaires. There's a reason why Steve Jobs dropped out. There's a reason why the maker of Uber, the CEO for Uber, dropped out. There's a reason why the maker for Dell Computers dropped out in his freshman year. There's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg dropped out. There's a reason why, Steve Jobs dropped out. Because college don't make billionaires. You know who make billionaires? Look in the mirror. God bless you. You make millionaires. You make billionaires. And there's a lot of money going on, a lot of money being made, and nobody wants to talk about it. So this is my passion, okay? It's truly my passion. When unemployment disrupts that process, it can permanently alter the trajectory of a worker's lifetime earnings, economists have concluded. So even they can't believe this shit, son. Look, even they wrote that shit twice. Even they wrote that shit twice. Even they said, huh? They wrote that shit twice. That shit got a purple box for itself. All right, let me continue. The situation for other minorities falls somewhere in between that of blacks and whites, according to federal data. In 2013, the share of all college-educated Asian Americans who were unemployed roughly equaled the proportion of whites, 3.6%. All Hispanic college graduates faced a 5% unemployment rate more than whites, but less than African Americans. So even Hispanics who are discriminated against or not discriminated against as much as black people, we last in line. So what you gonna do? You're gonna keep waiting and begging in somebody's line, or you're gonna make your own company? you're going to make your own store. For most of the past 50 years, the overall black unemployment rate has remained twice as high as the white unemployment rate. That gap has consistently grown larger during times of economic distress. Indeed, the center found that the gap between the unemployment rate for African American college graduates and all other graduates has soared from 3.7 percentage points in 2007 to 6.8 points today. This study, its findings are as terrible as they are, honestly should not come as a shock to anyone who is willing to face the truth about employment and unemployment in the United States. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. When I get black women and black men, I have some black male fans who ask me about college. Are you serious about college? They message me. Are you doing this for clicks? Are you doing this for attention? And I have to look, man. I tilt my head like a dog. Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not telling you something that's crazy. I said, you know what? I'm dedicated to spending my life in telling the 45 million black people that live in this country that you cannot sit there and cry about racism because these motherfuckers are not going to stop. Even white people are sick of these types of white people. You ain't see Charlotte? You ain't see them walking? You ain't see them counter protesting along with black people? The girl who got killed was a white chick. She was like, these white people are crazy. So these specific people, unfortunately, they're not going to change. So what can you do? You could sit there and make a YouTube channel and put a ski mask on and say, fuck white people. You still not going to pay your mortgage. You could sit down there and wear a t-shirt that says, these motherfuckers, you still not going to get that whip. You still not going to get retirement plan. This is what Hatsput is about. It's about connecting to the right people, networking with the right people, knowing the facts. Why would I tell you, as an Ivy League graduate of Cornell, that don't go to college? Why would I tell you that? Don't you think I'm intelligent? Because I know what happened to me. I'm seeing what's happening to many black people. And it's like playing Russian roulette. Because you don't know where that ball's going to fall. You don't know if you're going to be the one looking for a job for 2 years. It's all about looking at the statistics, looking at the constants. All right? I'm going to read that paragraph. This study, its findings, as terrible as they are, honestly should not come as a shock to anyone who is willing to face the truth about employment and unemployment in the United States. Okay? Said Nancy D. Tomaso, a professor at Rutgers University who studies inequality and organization diversity. All right? The study, like all the research, challenges the assumption that opportunity is available to all Americans who equip themselves with the right skills. Private sector labor data reported to the federal data shows little change in its share of management and executive level jobs held by racial and ethnic minorities since the 1990s. So since the fucking 1990s, there's been no improvement. Even if you have a degree. In fact, in industries that offer workers the best wages, the share of white men in those jobs have actually grown. The census study noted that half of the nation's management, professional, and related occupation, those the study described as fields where many college graduates ultimately employ a disproportionately small share of black male workers. All right? So this is serious, guys. This is serious, guys. So she argued that informal networks allow whites who still hold most of the decision-making positions in private economy to hoard and distribute advantage among their family and friends who tend to be mostly white. So this might make me lose followers. This might make me lose followers. If you guys are still here, I'm not high right now. Let me tell you something. If I'm white and I built a company, I'm going to hire my family and friends, son. I'm black. I have a company. Who you think I hire? My family and friends. If we're not networking, if we're not creating, we are a race with an economic power of 1.5 trillion. That's how much black people are projected to spend by 2022. Right now, black people spend 1.2 trillion into the American economy. That's a chunk of the American economy. If black people were to stop spending for a year, this country would be in dire straits. It could not withstand a loss of 1.5 trillion. I'm not an economist, but I'm a common sensicist. I have common fucking sense. So you guys have to wake up. You have to become entrepreneurs. You have to start businesses. You have to have your own shit. Are you listening? And you saw what I highlighted? Instead, she argued informal networks, hanging out with Billy, having dinner with Adam, going to the golf course with Jonathan. We're not doing that. So instead, she argued that informal networks allow whites who still hold most of the decision-making positions in private economy to hoard and distribute advantage among their family and friends who tend to be mostly white. While researching her book, she conducted 246 interviews with working class, middle class white individuals over a decade in Tennessee, Ohio, and gathered detailed job histories, information about the way her study participants obtained jobs over the course of their careers, over 246 people. The whites among those Di Tommaso interviewed found 70% of the jobs they held over their lifetime through inside information shared by a family member, a friend, a neighbor, direct intervention, someone walking a resume into the hiring manager's office, or a direct request a family member or friend get an open job, or other means not open to the general public. Son, nobody go cape for you. Nobody going to push for you. And is that bad? Yeah, it's bad because they have the majority of these companies. But you think they're going to stop hooking their friends up? Would you? Would you? This is why I made Hasesput. This is why I said open your stuff. It is paramount. It is paramount. It's just she said here that we really started to look closely, not just at the ways the labor marketer is biased against blacks, but the way it is biased in favor of whites. Okay, the researchers behind the Center study of black college graduate employment patterns emphasized the role that the recession had played in dampering. And this is what I want to talk about before I go. Black people, when there's a recession, they're not firing their cousin or their girlfriend or the secretary they're having sex with. They're going to fire you. Because I've done it. Well, when there's an economic slow or there's a capitalist negative, they're not looking to fire, Billy's girlfriend. They're gonna fire Shaquana. They're gonna fire Connie. They're not gonna fire you. And I'm trying to tell you guys this. And I hope this video gets viral. I hope people research the data in this video. I hope people challenge me because this is all official data. Okay, it's just it, it, it's not a joke anymore. And I really hope you guys, it says the Atlantic, but all the information was pulled from, long-time institutions. You're talking about the Department of Labor, the Census Bureau, the EEOC. Guys, make this video go viral. Show this video to your son. Show this video to your daughter. This is no joke. If you want to become financially free, empowered, continue to watch me because that's what I'm doing. And it's working out pretty damn well. You don't have to go to college to gain wealth. Now, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, an architect, an astronaut, yeah, that's really cryptic. And that you definitely have to go to school for. But if you're like me and you want financial freedom, if you're like me and you want economic empowerment, it's not going to happen with this. It's just not. All right. So that's it for Hesput Economics. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And, like I said, like, share, and hit that notification